What's up, everybody? We're going to start doing the Phil Bohol show live. I think that's the best way to do it. I used to record this stuff, but I think that we're entering a season where it just makes more sense to just do this live. So let's make sure we're good to go on all channels and give everybody a chance to load up in here, and we'll begin. Okay, I think we are good to go. Yeah, it's been a minute, so we're just going to roll into it. I think we're good. I'm just going to assume we're good on Instagram. I'm going to assume we're good on Facebook. I'm going to assume we're good on YouTube. So let's talk about the topic of the day. Topic of the day is if your family doesn't support you on this path as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a visionary, as somebody that is looking to create something that nobody in your family has ever created. So let me speak into somebody today. Whoever needs this message, I want you to understand that a lot of people experience the same thing at different levels all the time. So if this is for you, if this is the season that you're at, you're trying to break through all of the mental barriers that prevent you from taking the action because the environment that you're in, you're surrounded by people who don't fucking believe in you. And the worst part about that, it's always the people that matter the most to us. I'm going to give you a couple stories today of how I've experienced this from the past couple years. So that way you can see that I also have experienced so much disbelief, words that had intention to help, but cut me a lot more than it helped me. I've had loved ones that I wanted to fall back on to tell me I would never do business with you. The way that you talk is just a weird way to do it. I would never do business with you, and how I was able to break through those things. To dream about a life that nobody else in your family has ever earned requires you to operate even at a level that they have never operated at. And the reason why this is the message for the day is because I'm talking to multiple people right now, clients, non clients. This is what's happening with you guys. You guys are struggling because you're trying to do the best that you can for your life, for your business, for your family. And it's the fucking people that you love the most that are hating on you the most, whether they mean it that way or not. I'm going to give you some stories, okay? So, again, let this message find whoever it's for. And as always, share this. Share this with somebody that you know is going through it. Share it with somebody that just needs to be spoken into today. A couple years back, when I lost my job, we have to understand that in times of trials, the number one hater that we're going to ever have is ourselves. We're already judging the shit out of ourselves for failing, for losing our jobs, for the business going down under, for us to have personal shit, marriages, divorces, family issues. We already feel like failures for allowing these things to happen, but the reality is it's not in our control. So a couple years ago, when I lost my job during the shutdown, I was also a father to be. The amount of judgment that I had on myself, how could I choose to be a father? There's a choice to start a family and not to predict that the world would shut down. How come I did not predict that I was going to lose my job? This is how I'm starting fatherhood. The worst way, already at below zero, the worst possible position to provide for a family. How could I do that? Man, now this woman in my life has to deal with a man who doesn't even have a job, and we have a baby on the way. And I know, whether she wants to say it or not, I know that she feels some type of way about it. I know she's scared. And now she's going to have to deal with the emotions of pregnancy on top of now seeing this man that's supposed to provide for the home to not do anything. I think she even said she was going to be good with me being a stay-at-home dad. She would have to step into her masculine to be able to provide for the family because of the shit that was happening in my life. The judgment of self was so severe. I would cry. I would hide myself in this like other part of the home, right? We had a 1-bedroom home, and the other side of it was like our storage slash my office. I would just cry in there. I would just feel bad for myself, be a victim, judge the shit out of myself. Why? Why did I allow this to happen? It's because I kept rejecting the fact that it's possible that I could be a good human being, I could be a good man, and bad shit just happens to people like us. I didn't accept it at the time. I thought that I was just a shitbag and I would always be, and this was the story of my life. It wasn't until I started to realize if this could happen to me, it could happen for me. What is it that's happening for me? Well, to be a father, to be a provider, aren't more hardships going to happen in my life? Is this the first? Is this going to be the last? No. It's happening for me, but God, I don't know why. I don't know why this has to be the start of my journey. And I had to spend so much time with myself to figure out how these pains, these struggles, these things that I was going through, how was it for me? How? How could it possibly be? It's the worst thing that could happen. What that pressure did for me was it allowed me to start thinking outside of the norm. I can't get a job. Everybody's fighting for a job. Everybody's losing their job. I can't fight for a mediocre job to give a mediocre life to my family. What other alternative solutions are there? Forced me to take that pressure and to think different. I had to look at different opportunities and ways that people were making money that I wasn't thinking about yet. That forced me to make decisions quick. Why? Because when you have a pregnant wife, nothing's going to stop the pregnancy. You can't pause. You can't say, hey, God, life, universe, hey, wait, I'm not ready yet. You're never going to be ready for fatherhood. You're never going to be ready for the shit that's going to come into your life. But how you adapt and overcome from those trials is the thing that's going to allow you to break through in your life. I know somebody's going through this shit right now. What do you do when everything is stacked against you? What do you do when there's no way forward that you can clearly see right now? What if all you can do is take that next step and just have faith and trust that that next step will give you a different vantage point in how to look at your life, and then you just keep solving the next problem, step after step after step. There's no more projecting into the future. It's just every day is the battle that you have to win. Every day you got to show up, and that's what I did. Sales saved our lives. I got into sales. People were hiring salespeople remotely because they couldn't get salespeople in physical locations. I wasn't the best sales guy either, by the way. But I had to then take all of that pressure to provide, fight my own emotions, fight my own battles inside to be able to perform in sales, because sales is transference. And I was struggling, man. I used to live in California. My first paycheck in commissions from remote sales was $200 fucking dollars. $200 in California, you guys already know, that's like gas for the week. That's not shit. $200 as a new dad to provide, man, how am I going to even buy diapers? How am I going to buy milk? How am I going to buy all the things that my wife needs? Why is this happening to me? No. How is this for me? How is this for me? How is this for me? Went back under the desk, cried, allowed the pressure to fucking break me every time. And that pressure that broke me, I thought that meant that I was broken. But the truth was, me breaking allowed me to rebuild myself my way, the way that I needed to build myself to provide for my family. And the best part about breaking down, I didn't have to use any of the fucking pieces that no longer served me about me. That's called the process of shedding. This is what I teach my brotherhood, removing the false armor that we feel like we have to wear. And that first phase is just you versus you. It's just you getting out of your way. Right now, one of the biggest things that's going to hold you back is you being in your way. And the fucked up part about this is when you're in your way, that's when your family, that's when your friends support you the most, because they sense that weakness in you. They sense that you're below them. They sense that you're not going to grow past them, so they will support you. But the moment you start to move different, the moment you start to act different, the moment you start to do things in a way that triggers something in them, that's where the silence comes, as it did for me. But that silence does not last long, because now they're watching and seeing this guy moves different. He's seeing some different that I can't even see from my own life. And he's acting on it. What the fuck is that? You know what? I'm not going to cheer him on. I'm going to watch now. I'm going to watch now, because if I cheer him on and he succeeds, what's that going to mean about me? Guys, that's where the silence comes from your family. The moment you start taking steps forward in your life, you're going to start to trigger the weakness in other people, because you act as a mirror. The more you persevere, the more you push through, the more you get closer to your dream state, the more your family starts to get triggered that you can bypass them simply by committing more than them. And because you are that mirror, you also show them their own weaknesses. And because of that, that silence does not last long. Eventually, that silence turns into chatter. That chatter then becomes your loved ones talking down on your vision to bring you back down. It's called the crab mentality. They start to bring you back down because that's what feels comfortable for them. Don't move too high up because we're from the same place. I can't have you grow higher because what does that mean for me? When I started launching businesses after making money in sales, got my family right, was able to provide, started launching businesses, consulting, coaching, everything that I could possibly do. I had one of my aunties, and I don't think I ever told her this because, and she probably doesn't remember this, but one of my aunties, she was like a mother to me. This one time she saw my content online and she made a comment. She said, Phil, can I give you some advice on your business? I said, sure, auntie. Me thinking, man, she's about to pour into me. She's about to give me everything that I need to really believe in myself because she's like a mother figure to me. She's going to tell me everything that I fucking need to hear so I can go out there and slay this. We were outside in the backyard. We have this like, we were overlooking her view, which is just trees and beautiful bushes, just greenery in California. She looks at me square in my eye and she says, I would never buy from you. You're too boring. You don't sound like somebody I would buy from. You're so monotone. And when I heard that, I was kind of in shock. I was kind of in disbelief. Like auntie, why would you say that to me? Like I'm trying my best for my family. I'm trying my best to like make something of myself. Why would you say that? And of course, in their eyes, they say it out of love. They say it out of wanting to protect you. And not everybody wants to bring you down, so don't get it twisted. But words cut deep when they're from people that you love. And sometimes people that you love that try to protect you say things that hurt you, even if they don't mean it. And in that moment, I had to make a decision. There's a part of me that wanted to cry and be like, fuck, dude. I didn't even have my parents to cheer me on. Now I got this one person that I see as a mother figure. Now she's saying this shit to me. Fuck, bro. Like, can I really do this? The thing I need you guys to understand is the shit's going to hurt. You're going to have to work through the emotions. You're going to cry. You're going to get teary-eyed. You're going to lose that belief. You're already fighting yourself. Remember that. That doesn't stop. But when your loved ones start making comments that cut much deeper than anything else that anybody could say doesn't hurt that much. You can brush that shit off. But when it's your loved ones, it hurts. And so I joked it off. Auntie, you're not even my target market. I'm not worried about it. That's why I don't do content for you. And I said that with a smile on my face, even though behind that false armor, that mask I had to wear in that moment, I was shattering again. How could this be? How could that be the words of encouragement that I hoped you were going to give me be this critique, this ridicule, talking down to me? If that's happening to you, if that's happened to you, I want you to understand something. In that moment, you have to choose who you're going to believe. Are you going to believe yourself? Are you going to believe in your words? Are you going to believe that you're actually going to accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish? Are you going to believe that? Or are you going to believe other people's opinions about what they think they see, even if they don't see the work and the pain and the blood and the sweat and the tears and the long nights that you have to put in to even get to where you're at? Whose opinion are you going to give more weight to? And this is where most break. Because what you're asking for is a different life. And that means that you have to accept that on the way to the top, you will also have to shed people in your life that do not support who you are in the process of becoming. And these are going to be some of your closest relatives, cousins, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, spouses, everybody. And in that moment when you choose your purpose is when things start to change for the better. I started to realize I'm already my worst critic. I drew a hard line in the sand and said, if anybody talks down to me and what I'm trying to do for my family, and they don't know what I have to do to be who I am today, I'm going to love them from a distance. You're good over there. I don't need that. That's when I allowed myself permission to focus. See, most people are afraid to let family go. They're afraid to be in this new arena where they're by themselves because family, friends, relatives, loved ones, You're so used to them being there. But for you to win, you got to learn how to win on your own first. Because if you're always reliant on somebody else's approval, somebody else's good words of encouragement, how will you ever stand on your own 2 feet? And that is part of this process that is unspoken. This is why I believe that it's an 80-20 rule when it comes to business success. 20% is the strategy that everybody knows what to do. 80% is the hardship of working through all that shit emotionally, mentally, not to let it affect your day, not to let it affect your focus, not to let it affect how you operate with your message and have conviction in your life and what you're trying to spread in this world, no matter your business, no matter your dreams, no matter your vision. And when you start to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, even without your wife, your husband, anybody, nobody can speak into you because you got you. God's got you. The universe has got you. Your purpose is already written. You just have to follow the path now. When you start to get to that space, that's where that confidence comes from, because confidence is trust in self. I trust that no matter what anybody says, what anybody does, however much people believe in me or not, I believe in me. I got me. I'm going to show up for me. I'm going to show up for what I believe I will do. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I just got to stay the path. You guys have to start to understand that your environment is so critical to your ability to grow. That means that you have to invest the time and the focus to readjust your reality to fit into whatever this vision is that you got, because that vision is massive. You have to change the things that you allow into your mind to dictate your mind. If your office space, if your working space, if your house, if your room, if anything is out of order, if it's cluttered, if it's messy, then your mind is messy. Clean the shit up, especially your workspace. Clean it up. Start to act in accordance to the success that you say you want. When you start to speak about yourself and your business, speak as if you already know you're the best in the game. Speak as if you already know and have already accomplished previously all the things you think you need to prove you are who you say you are. When there's full alignment in how you see your vision and the reality and how you hold yourself to a much higher standard, that's when you really start to boom in business. And then what happens here? When you start to achieve success, that's when the people that are not for you start to disappear. Start to hear from them less. They get too triggered to see your success. I've had family, my wife's family, my own parents disappear from my life because of my success. And a previous me would have been hurt by that. Why? Why would our own family, our blood, cast us out just for trying to do the best for our family? Why let that be a thing that affects this? I could have. And it did affect my wife for a little bit, until she understood that there's some people in this life that are for you just for a moment. There's some people, including your family, that are just there for a season of your life. And there's going to be a very small handful of people that you're going to roll with for the rest of your life. Don't worry about the length of time somebody's in your life. Find gratitude for the space that they took and the experiences that you got. And don't be afraid to allow yourself growth in the future with or without them. Because the only person that's burdened by that is them. I got parents, we got relatives that will never know these grandchildren, these beautiful baby girls that we're raising. They'll never know them. I will never allow that into my life or my children's life. At some point, if you take ownership of what you did and who you were not when my family needed you most, maybe you will earn the right to meet these grandbabies. But until that time, they will never experience people who are that small-minded that will drop them instantly because of their own bullshit. And if you gotta lose years with the things that matter most in this life, that is the price you pay for the lack that you tried to bring into my life. I know somebody understands this message right now. And that mentality is a very different mentality than what society, what this world tries to teach you. Blood is thicker than water. Family's all you got. No. Family is all you had. You got wife, you got kids. That's your fucking family. Nobody else outside of that house is your family. Take care of yours. Focus on yours. Love from a distance if you got to. At the end of the day, even if nobody's cheering you on, you gotta be your biggest fucking fan. No matter what, the highs and the lows, and none of the success, none of the things, none of the milestones, none of these goalposts that you're setting for yourself are indicators of your value. You're gonna go through highs, you're gonna go through lows, you're gonna go through even lower lows than you even thought were possible. And even then, you're still worthy of everything if you're willing to see that all of this is for you. And don't worry about the noise of the world. You'll have family, you'll have friends, you'll have strangers on the fucking internet, on the streets talking shit to you. Who gives a fuck? That's all that they can do. That's the best part of their day. Why would you give weight to people like that when you're focused on much bigger things than somebody else who's got time to speak about their opinion versus doing something about it? You see what I mean? You're already better, but you gotta value you. You gotta value your work. You gotta value your effort. And that comes from nobody else but from the inside out. And this is why we focus on the work that we do. All right, so I hope, as always, this finds whoever needs this message today. I'm telling you guys, the frequency today is a lot of pain. The frequency today is a lot of doubt and fear. And can I do this? Do I have what it takes? What if I have to do it alone? What if you do? What if you can? What if you will? What if you're proud on the other side of this, all of this pain, that you don't need anybody to fill that cup? You got you. God's got you. And that's all that matters. So walk the path, even if it hurts sometimes, even when you don't want to. Show up for yourself. And then as you learn on this journey, as you start to impact people, inspire people, as you keep showing up, start to serve through purpose. Purpose is servitude towards others. Just like this message today, it's not for me. I've already walked that path. I've already learned the lessons. But I feel the pain out there. So this message is for you. You turn your pain into purpose. You turn your pain into a message. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Just understand the more that you heal, the more you can help heal others. And what if there's somebody just like you, same exact situation, that doesn't have the personal development or the mindset you have to persevere, and they're stuck, but they need you to share your message with them, to talk about this, normalize the hardships of business ownership, entrepreneurship, just being a fucking human at that. What if that's all it took to change a life? Would it be worth it? I believe it is. I'm sick as a dog right now. Fucking hurts every time I say one word. But this message is important enough to deal with my shit later and make sure that the message comes across to whoever needs this today, because I can feel it. I can feel it because you guys are messaging me. You guys are commenting. You guys are watching, listening to the message. Even if you don't engage, I can sense it. There's pain. And the only way to move through that pain is to accept that it's present. Stop trying to stuff it down. Stop trying to bury it. Put it out into the world. Lay it all out there. And once you give yourself permission to release all the pain, you're going to start to feel a lot fucking better. And my hope is I get some feedback on doing this live. If this is helpful for you live, to do these episodes versus recorded, hit me up. Tell me. Give me the fucking feedback. I'll do this shit more and more. I cannot tell you how fucking pissed I get when my people are hurting. When you guys tell me your shit, I personally feel affected by it, just so you understand. That's why some of you guys that are really open and honest with me, I send you voice notes and you can hear my fucking voice. I'm pissed for you that you got to deal with that shit and you think you got to deal with it by yourself. You don't have to. But you got to take the steps forward to say, hey, I'm going through some shit, man. Going through some shit and I don't want to be. I know there's a better path for me. I just need some guidance. I just need to know how. What's my first step forward? and let's take the step forward. All right, with that being said, I'll see you guys at the next one. As always, share this, save it, send it to somebody who needs it. See you guys next time. Peace.